Hey, Steve again from Vegas West Side Shooters, and I'm doing a short update video on the Keltec Sub 2000 40 caliber Glock magazine version. And the reason I'm doing this update is because we've now had the gun for approximately 4 months and put 300 to 400 rounds through it. I've upgraded a few of the things, and so I just wanted to talk about that. Mostly it was prompted by a host of negative comments on my last video, complaining about the fact that the holes that were punched in for the pin that holds in the minimal stock here were not deburred at the factory, and I was unable to get the bolt out from the get-go, and I had to take a metal file to this thing and file it down in order to get the bolt out. Once I did that, I haven't had any trouble getting the bolt out anymore. So really my only complaint with the company of Keltec is that I just think their quality assurance is poor, and you should not send something out of the factory that has not been fully checked, including disassembled and reassembled, and they clearly did not do that. So other than that, I don't really have any complaints with the company of Keltec. Now that I've got the gun the way I want it, I don't really have any complaints with the gun either. We enjoy shooting it. It's pretty accurate. It's fun to shoot. We haven't had any malfunctions with the gun itself. One trick I did learn that I would like to pass on is once you disassemble it and take the bolt out, it's a very tight fit of the bolt, and I started using EWG, which is Extreme Weapon Grease. You could use Slip 2000. You can really use any kind of grease that you want, but just oiling the bolt didn't do it for me. I actually had to apply a thin film of grease to the bolt. Once you do that, it slides right back in with minimal difficulty, and the gun still functions just fine like that. You do have to clean it each time because the grease attracts some of the soot, but you know, I don't really find that to be a problem. I clean my weapons every time anyways. But I'll just mention a couple of things that I did that I thought made this gun for me much more shootable and much more enjoyable if you didn't watch the first video. So those include the rubber butt pad that I got from Amazon.com, which not only softens the recoil a little bit, because the recoil wasn't really that big a difference, but it adds about 1 inch to 1.5 inches to the back of the gun. And I had a lot of trouble. I'm 5'11", so I'm not super tall, but I must have long gorilla arms or something, because I had a lot of trouble getting a sight picture on this thing without that pad on there. That extra 1 inch to 1.5 inches allows me to get my face down enough that I can actually get a good sight picture. So that to me was a huge improvement. I really like that thing. I also added this little rubber gasket on top of the charging handle, and that really helps me to grip the charging handle comfortably without the metal cutting into my finger. And I added this little rubber sleeve here, which is a little difficult to see, but there's a little thin rubber sleeve. Both of these things I got from Tacticool products. They were very inexpensive. The shipping was free. I highly recommend them as a company. The stuff shipped the next day. I had it 2 days later. This little gizmo cost about $5. The sleeve I think was about $8 or $9. They also make a recoil absorbing pad that you can put back here in between the stock and the spring, but you know, I myself, I don't really feel I need that. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of recoil on this rifle. I also added this front grip so that I could get a good grip on the gun without having to worry about my hand slipping off. There's a nice Picatinny rail on the bottom, and this grip does not, it stays on the bottom, so when you fold the rifle it doesn't obstruct anything, which is nice, and it really helps to grip the rifle. So I really like that. This was from Bravo Company. It's called I think it's called the KSG or the KBG grip. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but you could get anything similar to that and it would be fine. If you really wanted to put a vertical grip on this, you could do it as well. And then the other thing that I discovered was I found this is from UTG, and it's a quick mount. You can see that on there. It's a quick release red dot mount, and so you just open this up, put it on the Picatinny rail. I'll show you. It's really takes about 1 second here. Put that right on the rail. I like to put it at the end of the rail. Clamp it down, and that is good and tight. And we've done this and taken it off. Every time we put the rifle away, we take this off and fold it up. And when we put it back on, it pretty well holds zero. It's not perfect, but we can get out to easily at the range 35 to 50 yards and hit the steel pretty much every time. So those are the things I did to make what I would consider to be improvements to this gun. I do enjoy shooting it. It's a good backpack gun if you want to fold this thing up. And here I'll show you when you fold it that that stays up, that grip, so you don't have to take the grip off, you just have to take the sight off. But if you fold it up, I happen to purchase this case from Keltec, but you certainly don't have to. You can put it in any backpack. Put that right in there. With the buttstock, you can't seem to get the zipper all the way closed on the side of the buttstock, but you can get it around 3/4 of the way, and it's pretty secure in there. And I also keep the red dot in there as well. So, this is a. There we go. It's a fun gun to shoot. It's a reliable gun. It's I think in 40 caliber it's a pretty effective carbine with the 16-inch barrel. I wouldn't have any trouble keeping this in a car or a truck with a couple of magazines. I could pop this out, unfold it, pop the sight on, and deploy it in about 20 seconds. It's for what it is. I think it's a great gun. I do think that if you're buying this gun, you have to understand its shortcomings. I think you have to be prepared to either shoot it the way it is, or if you have long arms like me, you're going to have to spend a few dollars to get it the way you want it. But overall, I'm still happy with my purchase. I'm not interested in selling it, and so hopefully that'll quash the negative Keltec fanboy comments I keep getting. But either way, that's my opinion. And thanks for watching. Steve from Vegas West Side Shooters.